Caitlin Clark said, "No layups in my house," and sent Angel Reese flying like it was a Southwest commercial. That flop had Academy Award winner written all over it. But the refs really looked at that and said, "Yep, that's definitely murder," and gave Caitlin a flagrant like she pulled a knife out mid-play. And Angel tried to run up on her and said, "You're crazy as fuck, what the fuck are you doing?" And Caitlin's all like, "This is just basketball. It's either a layup or free throws. Pick one."
It's just a good take foul, you know? If either Angel gets wide open 2 points or, we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a good take foul. Every basketball player knows that.
And just like that, Caitlin Clark dropped a triple-double, won by 35.
On live television, Angel Reese was benched. Furthermore, this was not a rest the starter scenario. You sure about that? Is what you would think when you see the coach benched like this. Angel, however, went into full vicious mode instead of pouting. Reporters, supporters, and even the Gatorade bottles were alarmed by her response. You won't believe what she did next. It was more than simply a statement. It was a microphone drop encased in attitude and glitter. Really, fasten your seat belt.
Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever is currently putting the beats on the Chicago sky. And I'm telling you right now, Angel Reese is furious because she wants to make it her business to beat Caitlin Clark this year. And I'm telling you right now.
On live TV, Angel Reese was benched. And sure, this isn't just a small change to the lineup or a tactical replacement. It was the basketball equivalent of being forced to sit down and consider your life decisions. However, let's not act like this was just some unremarkable sideline drama. No, this was a full-fledged public spectacle, and it occurred at the kind of beautiful timing that only occurs when the NCAA's Real Housewives are watching ESPN while sipping tea.
Why, sports supporters? Well, I told you guys there would be a follow-up video on the nuclear fallout. That's exactly what it's been. Over the take foul, as Caitlin Clark is calling it, and that's a great way to say it. It was a take foul. She was trying to prevent a wide-open layup, although one could argue that she might have missed it anyway, on Angel Reese, and then Angel Reese went absolutely, utterly berserk.
What, therefore, caused Queen Ree to fall? Oh, it was only a tiny thing called unbridled wrath that let out like an unscripted Marvel villain. Due to the fact that Caitlin Clark, yes, the same Caitlin Clark, whose three-point range could reach Saturn from Iowa, committed a foul, not a tech, not a blatant, just your typical whistleblowing incident. You know the kind when everyone's elbows are flying like they're in a blender and their ankles are on fire 16 times every quarter?
This little white girl and Caitlin Clark out here busting that flat out, bro. Triple dub. And I don't want to hear none of that stat padding stuff, bro. She had a triple double, and that's just the facts, man. That's just the facts. So I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, she fouled her hard, bro. It was a malicious play." Man, that wasn't no malicious play. This is a malicious play. Check it out. What y'all gonna say?
However, Angel Reese. Oh no, she didn't just react, she burned. The fourth quarter would have been played outside if there had been a smoke alarm in the building. To be clear, this was not the typical rivalry energy of sports. It was not two elite athletes pushing one another to improve. This was not amiable trash talk. Rather, it was outright hostility laced with the comment, "I hope your trainers unravel mid-dribble." Angel could have melted steel with the expression she gave Caitlin. And because of the enthusiasm she provided, Godzilla vs. Kong appeared to be a Mr. Rogers Tea Party.
Need to talk about the hard foul. Caitlin Clark fouls Angel Reese while going up for a layup. People are making a big deal out of this, and me, I'm looking at it like, look, it was just a hard foul. I don't even think it was flagrant. The only thing that was flagrant was Angel Reese's response, right? How she responded to the hard foul. And obviously you can see there's still a little hate. There's still a little hate out there. But I'm gonna say this, WNBA, lean in on this. Lean in on this.
Here's the true jerk, though. Nope, Reese didn't merely quit glaring at the screen. As if she were trying out for the Survivor Basketball Beef Edition, she headed straight for Caitlin. With a louder voice, Angel would have said, "I have time today." The courtside was virtually audible.
Basketball player, refs got it right. No more.
Additionally, Caitlin, assuming she had just been randomly tackled at a spelling bee, she would have had the frozen, "What even is happening?" expression. Since Caitlin didn't do anything unless it was considered provocation, Angel acted as though Caitlin had criticized her jump shot, her playlist, and her grandmother in a single sentence, even though she had committed a foul. The benching followed, and it wasn't just any benching. The type of benching in which the coach says, "Nope, I'm not dealing with this sit," without even looking at the player. In just 5 seconds, the audience switched from being excited to yelling. What was most frightening was that Angel didn't even dispute it. She took a seat with the kind of smoldering rage reserved for those who have just been informed that they are not permitted to bring outside food into the theater. In case you missed it, Twitter blew up, and then came the fallout. Not only were fans furious, but they were also throwing virtual bombs from all across the internet. Followers of Caitlyn were posting memes more quickly than Angel was benched, while Angel's own followers were divided between her fervor and what had just transpired in the WWE. The chronology abruptly appeared to be a transitional scene between First Take and Memory.
Walk me through your perspective on the flagrant foul, and what was the point you were trying to make to her?
It's just a good take foul, you know. If either Angel gets wide open 2 points, or we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a take foul. Every basketball player knows that.
And Angel's answer was, "Oh, hold on." She didn't say sorry. She doubled down and didn't back down. With the finesse of a jackhammer and the elegance of a goods-trained Angel arrived for Caitlyn as if it were the off-season. She cruelly made it clear. This goes beyond simple rivalry. It's a full-fledged vendetta. If she had a dartboard in her room, you could know by her posture, her sneer, and the way she asked questions with hurricane-level emotional range who was on it. This was not a competitive advantage. It was war. By the end of warm-ups, Caitlyn would have had 6 in a tech if appearances could have been a factor. And let's talk about punishment because, despite their claims to be all about grace and sportsmanship, the NCAA was actually watching that clip on loop as a sneak peek at their next PR catastrophe. You don't simply lose your mind in the middle of the day and attempt to verbally abuse a fellow athlete on national television before leaving with a Gatorade and a pat on the back. The 1990s are not here. The NBA is in boiling, searing hot water. Right now, NCAA officials are most likely putting together a committee in khakis and searching urgently for ways to discipline someone without damaging ratings for March Madness.
Recording this is pure hate, pure hatred for that white girl in India. Excuse me. I need to specify. Sorry, the one that wears 22 in Indiana.
Necessitate a professional babysitting minor and a degree in dispute resolution. The post-game press conference was as animated as a man attempting to tell his wife about his browser history. Deep sighs, 4 smiles, and the traditional fallback will handle it internally. Translation: I hope the league suspends her before I have to since I don't know what she will do next. In the meantime, the fans are experiencing an existential crisis. Of them, half are yelling, "She's just passionate." The other half, meantime, is searching Google for, "Can a player get ejected for giving side-eye?" The others, well, they're only there to witness the mayhem. Having popcorn while watching the WNBA become a reality show with drama queens wearing trainers as hosts, and let's be honest, this wasn't Angel Reese's first emotional fireworks display. No, she's been turning court hearings into full-blown soap operas since the NCAA days. She plays as if someone discovered her journal and put it on the Jumbotron, not only with emotion. However, last night was different. That was the ponytail-wearing DEFCON 1. That was full-fledged. Turned the table over. Energy from the WWE Royal Rumble in a league that purports to have officials and regulations. She stormed around the court as if someone had just spoiled her favorite show's conclusion. Furthermore, this was not a competitive fire. This was the theatrical equivalent of a cartoon villain. As if no one would have blinked if she had brought out a steel chair. A theme tune and a fog machine were the only things lacking, yet they were present.
The way the players responded there, just to that moment, it looked like somebody was coming over, talking with Angel, coaching staff was talking with her, calm her down, make sure that it didn't escalate any further.
Yeah, I think that it's a little misrepresentation to calm her down. I think emotions were high on both sides, and so I think Angel reacted in a way that any of us would react in a moment like that.
Reason Angel was placed on the bench. Indeed, Caitlyn continued to plummet like the world didn't burn around her. One star continued to rise as the other imploded. The sound of Nike executives frantically altering their advertising efforts is almost audible. Perhaps reduce the grit and focus more on sportsmanship. In the meantime, sports commentators are becoming less coherent. Is Caitlyn Clark the true adult in the room now, Or is Angel Reese a liability? Does the locker room need a therapist? Everyone has an opinion. Of these, half seem like conspiracy theories. Nobody requested the dramatic reenactments from an ESPN soap opera that make up the second half, and you can tell that the mayhem behind the scenes is chef's kiss perfection. Co-workers skulking about as if they were in a haunted place. While a group chat is burning, coaches are drafting apologies as if they were working on a breakup text. PR teams are in crisis mode. However, Angel herself receives the greatest L of the evening because, let's face it, if your night's high point is a tantrum and a wooden bench, the memes will always win, regardless of how skilled you are, how many rebounds you grab, or how many points you score.
We saw Caitlin Clark become the fastest player in WNBA history to have 3 triple-doubles. Besides it getting a little bit spicy with her and Reese, what did you like that you saw from Clark?
Speaking of spicy, right? I think that was just a no free buckets foul. Now, it was a hard one, and I think the refs did their job, and I'm glad we can focus on the court. But Caitlin Clark, she came in this season as the MVP favorite for 2025, and even though it's one game, you can see that it may not just be all talk. She had a triple-double, as you mentioned, 20, 10, and 10. And you can see 2 things happening. Playing with vets like Dewana Bonner and Natasha Howard, it allows her to not constantly be doubled or triple teamed or trapped.
Versus Clark, they went head-to-head. Let's check out when as we pick this up early in the second. Angel Reese, she's been working on that jumper, and it's good. Some respect on it. Sky down 3 under 10 left now. Clark finds her spot, and it's a green bean. CC beating the buzzer, and then check this out on the Sky bench. Angel Reese is like, man, come on, man. Y'all need to D up. How you gonna let her get that jump? A little shade. Fever up by 13 at the break. Third quarter. Watch Reese under the hoop here. After the miss, this is what everyone's talking about. She gets a rebound, and then Clark comes in with a hard foul. Reese has to be held back as Aaliyah Boston steps in.
Furthermore, we must not fool ourselves. This will not be resolved very soon. The 4K version of Angel's Meltdown is now immortalized. You can find it on TikTok. It can be found on Twitter. It can be found in your uncle's group conversation. Her expression in the middle of screaming mid-drama, mid-lunge t-shirts already have it. It will haunt highlight reels for the ensuing 10 years. It's likely that even the ESPN graphics crew is putting in extra effort to locate a frame in which she doesn't appear to be attempting to call forth a demon out of pure hate. Additionally, Caitlin is most likely drinking water and revising her LinkedIn profile with a de-escalation expert. Professional in being despised without cause, this wasn't new, as evidenced by the fact that she didn't even turn to face Angel again. That after simmering for months or perhaps years, this animosity has now erupted like a college hot plate of instant ramen. Here's the kicker, though. This was preventable. This game had the potential to be fantastic. Both sportsmen could have had their opportunity to shine here, but instead we got a live-action soap opera with less plot twists than patience. The scoreboard might have been illuminated by Angel's fire. It simply burned her own bench instead.
Tensions didn't get too high after the play. Now with this play, they did call a flagrant 1 on Caitlin Clark. They said that it was unnecessary contact on the play, but I immediately knew, I was like, oh crap, this is gonna be something that goes viral. A bunch of people are gonna talk about it. People are going to make it into something bigger than it needs to be.
The next question is whether the NCAA will act as though nothing happened because drama equals ratings, suspend her, fine her, send her to a meditation retreat with Phil Jackson and a bag of incense, or use her as a warning to any player who believes that having passion equates to going all Terminator mid-aim. Only time will tell. However, there is no denying that Angel Reese may possess superstar talent, but last night she exhibited the impetus of a YouTube comment section, which is detrimental to both her career and the sport because eventually the drama must end and basketball must resume. Enjoy the bench, Angel, until then. You deserve that view. Not to mention the irony. It's the equivalent of declaring checkmate in sports before realizing you've been playing Connect 4 the entire time. Angel Reese, who once positioned herself as the ultimate competitor, the unwavering enforcer, and the queen of trash talk, ended up talking herself out of the game. Her supporters are now reeling like a conspiracy theory subreddit. She is misinterpreted. She is simply emotional. The story is being twisted by the media. Oh, please. Nothing was twisted by the media. The cameras were rolling.